Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido, and today we're coming in from Goldenrod City where the guild are hosting the Viridian Magma, and these two sides have improved drastically since last season, so much so that whilst we're having a look at this tail of the tape, we can see that the Magma are actually currently sitting in second place on the leaderboard, and they are contending for that top spot as they are looking to take another win here today. But the guild, they've lost their last two games and they are trying to get their season back on track. So with all that said, let us know in the comments below who you think's going to win this matchup. Will it be the normal types? Will it be the ground types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And starting off this match, it is Whiscash going with the Worry Seed on to Oranguru, giving them something to worry about indeed. Having lost their last two games, they do not want to lose a third in a row as it gets that Insomnia ability. It is going to be Oinkologne though, going with the Aerial Ace, taking it straight to Donphan on the side of the Magma. Oranguru is going to follow it up with the Lash Out, going for Whiscash here, getting some good chip damage, but Donphan does respond by trying for the Aurora Veil. However, it is not snowing here in Goldenrod City, so that does fail, leaving Whiscash to try for the Topsy-Turvy, but that too is going to fail here. This opens the door for Oinkologne to try and capitalize with the Curse, not going on the offensive. Instead, it is going to cut into its speed, but in doing so, it boosts that physical attack that is base 90, as well as boosting that physical defense. Oranguru with the follow-up, going for the Stuff Cheeks. They're just going with the setup here in the early stage of this matchup, as it does boost that physical defense a great deal, restoring a bit of PP with that Leopard Berry as well. But Donphan going for the Soak. It is going to change Oinkologne into a water type, and Oinkologne could capitalize greatly on this because Donphan is weak to those water type moves. However, it is the Eruption from Whiscash getting some great damage there on to Oranguru with that critical play, but it's not very effective on the water type Oinkologne, as the Tar Shot from Oranguru is also going to make Donphan weaker to fire type moves, lowering its speed in the process, trying to keep Oinkologne quicker than Donphan, as it is going to go with the Yawn on to Donphan. We do see that ground type here growing drowsy, but it is still awake for now as it goes with the Baton Pass. It doesn't want to have to fall asleep. It is going to go back to the bench, and in its place it is going to be Palisand entering this matchup. The Ghost ground type joining alongside the Water ground type, setting up that safeguard. Does Whiscash cloaking its side in that Mystical Veil, as the Thunder is not going to work from Oranguru, as the Magma are immune to electric type moves. However, the Blood Moon from this water type Oinkologne getting some good damage there onto Whiscash, but it is Palisand going for its first move of the matchup, going for the Psych Up, trying to copy the stat changes here of Oinkologne, as it is going to boost that physical attack, but the Infestation onto Oinkologne as well isn't going to do much damage, but it is going to be afflicted with that Infestation, doing that passive damage, as the Gust from Oranguru getting minimal damage onto Palisand. However, Oinkologne is going to follow it up with the Fire Punch. This is resisted, but gets in some good damage onto Whiscash, as Palisand is going to go for the Leech Life, super effective there onto Oranguru, and it is going to restore its own health in the process, getting back to full strength does Palisand, as there is that Infestation, that horrifying noise afflicting Oinkologne here, as Whiscash is going to go with the Retaliate onto Oranguru, putting it into knockout range as well. But the Part Psychic type does try for the tackle, however it phases straight through Palisand here. Oinkologne trying to do its bit, goes with the round on to Whiscash, almost taking the elimination here, but Palisand is able to set up the Perish song. What is with teams singing this dreadful song of late, as all combatants that have just heard that will be eliminated in 3 turns unless they can either get back to the bench or if they're taken down before that actually happens. You do not want to go for a Baton Pass though and give this Perish song to a teammate, as that Perish count does fall to 3 for all the Pokemon on the field. The Water Spout though from Whiscash, and it does practically nothing there to Oranguru. It's not very effective on the Water type Oinkologne, as the Misty Terrain is set up here by Oranguru, so that Mist is going to swirl around the battlefield, and Dragon type moves are going to become weaker, as well as Oinkologne does go for the Muddy Water, but that is going to be avoided by Palisand, but it's able to get the elimination of Whiscash. The guild have gotten the first one on the board in this matchup, as both sides seem to be playing quite methodically so far. That Protective Mist prevents the Poison Gas from Palisand from working, as that Perish count does fall to 2. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to leave a like and subscribe as well, so you don't miss out on any of the action in the PokeType League VGC, as Donphan does return to this matchup. It is the Moonlight from Oranguru. It is going to restore its health. It is a very easy target, but it has got that Perish Song to contend with, as well as Donphan going for the Focus Blast, but it can't maintain that focus enough to connect with Oinkologne, allowing the Water type to respond by setting up the Dragon Dance, which is not weaker in this misty terrain. It does boost that physical attack once again, as well as boosting that speed that it did lower earlier on, as Palisand is going to go for the beat up. This multi-hit move is going to connect 5 times, because that is how many Pokemon are remaining for the Viridian Magma. With that said, that Perish count is still in play for Oinkologne, Oranguru, and Palisand here. Again, both these sides playing very methodically here early on, as the Perish count does fall to 1. And as the Viridian Magma are no longer protected by the safeguard, it is going to be the Magic Powder here from Oinkologne onto Donphan, who is going to become a Psychic type, more Pokemon changing type in this matchup. The Sweet Scent as well from Oranguru. It is going to lower the evasiveness of both Palisand, which doesn't matter as much, but it does lower the evasiveness a great deal of Donphan, who has not heard this Perish Song. It goes with the charge though, trying for the setup. It is going to begin charging power. It's also going to boost that special defense that is base 60. Is much more of a physically based Pokemon, as the Hydro Cannon from Palisand is going to be avoided by Oranguru, but what will not be avoided is that Perish count falling to 0. It is going to be Oinkologne falling first, and it is going to be followed by its teammate. And for this brief moment in the matchup, the Magma will hold the lead, but unfortunately for Palisand, who did sing this Perish Song, it too is going to be eliminated, and Donphan is going to be on the field by itself, as it is now a 4 versus 4 matchup. It is going to be Chinchino entering for the guild, being joined by Staraptor entering for the Magma. It is going to be there to Rastal draft a Furret, who had a very slow start to the season, but it has fully embraced this achievement that the Magma have made, bouncing back from almost taking the wooden crown last season and now contending for the top of the leaderboard. But again, the guild missing out on last season's victory road, want to get back into an Elite Four spot, as the conversion to from Chinchino is going to fail. This allows Furret to try and capitalize by going with another Infestation in this matchup. Not very effective onto Staraptor, but it will have to contend with that passive damage, as it is going to respond with the reversal onto the Psychic type Donphan, doing practically nothing with that not very effective move, allowing Donphan to respond with the Shadow Punch, but it faces straight through Staraptor, who is immune to those Ghost type moves. It's not, however, immune to the Infestation, as Chinchino going with the hard press here onto Furret, getting some great damage there as well, but Furret is going to respond with the Disarming Voice. This spread damage not doing a great deal onto the members of the guild, allowing the Sacred Sword from Staraptor, as Furret hangs on by a thread, and it is able to chow down here on its Citrus Berry, offsetting some of the damage of that Sacred Sword. And it is Donphan responding for its side with the Defend Order. It is going to boost those defensive stats. We mentioned that special defense earlier, but it has 120 base physical defense as well as attack. It hasn't truly capitalized on it here in this matchup though, as that Infestation is still afflicting Staraptor. The Mist is going to disappear from the battlefield, and it is Chinchino going for the Mega Horn. This is super effective onto Donphan, getting some good damage, but it has boosted those defenses at a crucial time as well. We get the workup from Furret. It is going to boost its own physical attack that's base 76, but it boosts that special attack in the process as well. Staraptor is going for the Sing, that majestic voice, much nicer than the Perish Song, is going to put Donphan to sleep in this contest. And as it is fast asleep on the field, this is going to leave Furret to have to do the work by itself. But that infestation, still afflicting Staraptor. It is Chinchino with the Malignant Chain on to Furret here. Not very effective. Furret holds on, and it avoids the poisoning, going for the Eerie spell in response onto Chinchino, getting some really good damage there as well, cutting into its PP by 3. Staraptor responding for its side with the headbutt onto the sleeping Donphan, putting it into knockout range, but Donphan has awoken after taking that headbutt, and it responds with the Pain Split, very intelligently going for Chinchino. They're sharing the pain between the two, and there's that Infestation still doing more damage to Staraptor. Chinchino is going to go with the Flamethrower onto Donphan, putting it back into knockout range, and it's left it with that burn. This is going to cut into that physical attack as well as doing passive damage. Furret going for the tea time. And everyone in this match is going to chow down on the berries. Now we know that Donphan is holding onto the leopard berry because it was one of the starting 4, but the other 3, Chinchino chowing down on its berry, that Lancet berry, it is getting pumped, and this could be crucial. That could be critical here. Staraptor is able to restore its health because it was holding on to that Enigma berry, chowing down on that. Now Furret had already had its berry as we get the Stomping Tantrum on to Donphan to take it out of this match, and that tea time has benefited the Goldenrod Guild more than the Magma already, as the Guild have just taken the lead. Staraptor has been freed from the infestation, and the Magma are going to send out Gastrodon. Chinchino still with speed control, going for the Ice Punch there. That critical play already coming into effect, but it is the dual Wing Beat in response, and it only needs to be the single Wing Beat with that critical play from Furret to take Chinchino out of this matchup. We are down to a 3 versus 3 matchup as things are starting to pick up between these two sides. Staraptor, however, is going to respond with the Sparkling Aria. That Storm Drain ability is going to boost the special attack of Gastrodon, but Furret still will not be able to avoid this move, putting the Guild back in front. The Terrastra has been taken out with a critical play in response to its own critical play here. And that beautiful sunshine comes back out in Goldenrod City as Gastrodon is going to go for the Jaw Lock, going straight into the offensive, getting some great damage there onto Staraptor as well, who is going to be joined by Indeedee. For the Magma, their last Pokemon will be Clodsire entering this contest, and is the Psychic Surge ability from Indeedee causing the battlefield to get just a little bit weird, but we get the Circle Throw on to Clodsire, not very effective, and it will not send it back to the bench as the Magma's bench has been emptied. We get the Heal Pulse though from Indeedee that's immediately going to restore Clodsire back to full strength. This allows Gastrodon to go for the Calm Mind. It's going to get another special attack boost, that base 92 special attack being boosted alongside its special defense, but Indeedee needs to get its head in the game. It misperformed last season, and it's on the receiving end of a massive Dire Claw that's going to leave it with that paralysis from Clodsire. It is going to slow it down. It will need to shake off that paralysis as the Blizzard from Staraptor. It is super effective, but doesn't actually do a great deal of damage onto Clodsire here, who is going to chow down on its own Enigma Berry, almost getting itself back to full strength once again. This allows Gastrodon to go with the Metal Burst onto Staraptor, who holds on. It is in knockout range though. Indeedee is going to go with the Cut, now going on the offensive, targeting Clodsire, but Clodsire does respond, going with the Healing Wish. This is also going to fail, fortunately for the Magma, because the bench is empty, but Staraptor with the Razor Leaf, this is going to be avoided by Clodsire, but it is extremely effective onto Gastrodon, and Clodsire is all by itself with 3 normal types to contend with. The Mist Ball though from Indeedee, this is super effective, and it completes the huge play, and the Goldenrod Guild are back to their winning ways, taking down the Viridian Magma in a big way. And this is the kind of game that they needed, as things did start off slow, but they finished strong to bring themselves back into 4th place. And next round they are going up against the Hemlock Draconids, whereas for now the Magma still in 2nd place. Next round will be going up against the Spikemuth Rockets, but until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.